Good day, everyone. Thanks for joining me on this weekend edition of Weather Eastern. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. We got a lot to talk about here. We have Invest 98L. Is anything going to come out of this system, or is it just another tease? We'll take a look at this feature out here in the Atlantic. Does anything else have a chance of development? Is Danielle on the horizon? We'll see. Eastern Pacific, we'll see if there's anything going on, as well as the Western Pacific. And the big pattern change across North America. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Let's get into it. And what is this interesting feature here off the northeast coast of the United States? We're going to go into this in detail right after your tropical update here, so stay tuned later on in the video here, or you can skip ahead on the timestamp. But look at this. We're going to be looking at the potential for a nor'easter. All right, so let's take a look at the tropics here without wasting any time. We've got those two areas of tropical development. There is Invest 98L. It is confidence low in the next 5 days here. The window of opportunity, though, I believe is only 24 to 36 hours here. So this is going to be heading onshore. It's got a terribly narrow window of opportunity, and then it just fizzles throughout. Eastern Pacific here, we have that 70% chance of a weak system developing potentially the next named storm. So let's start with the Atlantic first here without bouncing around too much. Let's take a look at what we got going on in the basin here. So we're going to take a look at this system here in the Western Gulf. So as we head throughout time here, let's take a look and see what happens, because we don't have too much else to talk about. Yeah, this system kind of by Sunday morning here, 11 a.m., starts to head inland. You can see here the coastal Texas area, Corpus Christi down to Brownsville. This is where we're going to be seeing some of those heavier showers and thunderstorms, and I'll get into those rainfall totals with you momentarily here. Got a few other tropical waves out here in the Atlantic. You can see over towards the Lesser Antilles. Take a look at this. We got some inclement weather, but none of these should amount to anything. And you can see out here the Cape Verde season is remaining active and robust, but you know what? We got all this stable dust out here that is it's basically the fly in the ointment here. So as we continue in time here, let's take a look and see what the rest of the Atlantic. There it is. Invest 98L moving inland across South Texas, and we don't have too much else to talk about. Let's see if anything flares up here, because the GFS has kind of been hinting something here into the Western Caribbean, but see, that kind of falls apart and moves into the Eastern Pacific by this point. This is Tuesday, August 16th. Look what's going on here. We do have some tropical moisture with potentially what is left with that tropical wave moving up, but I don't expect this to develop into anything. It will bring some beneficial rains up here to the northeast. You can see Boston area up to Hartford, Nantucket, Cape Cod. We could be looking at some heavier rain. This is by later Tuesday, so watch out for that. Almost like a nor'easter style system, but I don't expect anything tropical. Also some heavy rains here in the mountains of Haiti and the rest of the Dominican Republic here. But in the meantime, we don't have much to talk about here, you know, in the short term. Until we get to about Wednesday, August 17th here, you can see there's going to be a pretty decent tropical wave here across the northern part of the Caribbean. You can see just west of the Cayman Islands here. Take a look at that. So let's go in time here and see what happens with that. You can see, look at that. So that starts to potentially develop over the Yucatan. This is Thursday, August 18th, heading into the southern Gulf of Mexico by the 19th and the 20th. This could be a system we could be looking at here. So we have something on the radar here. It is not even materialized yet, but the GFS here hinting that something could be happening. And of course, we have these stalled out frontal boundaries along the U.S. East Coast that we'll have to watch in time here. And the Cape Verdes remain robust, but as I said, I'm not very particularly fond of the conditions out here in the main development region of the Atlantic. So let's see. Let's take it to just a few more frames. That moves into northern Mexico, southern part of Texas by the 21st of August here. And as we go through time, it doesn't look like there's much to talk about here in the immediate future. All right, so taking a look at the Pacific here, there is that 70% area likely to develop into our next tropical system, potentially, at least a depression for that matter. So let's take a look at the entire Pacific here. We'll see what's going on. Look what we got out here towards Tokyo, Japan, basically bringing some heavy rain. Now a tropical depression Meari here. Take a look at that. That's heading off to the northeast, off the Japanese coastline, and will continue to the northeast. It's likely to become a tropical storm again as it moves out over open water. The water temperatures are not too terribly impressive, but we could be looking at something. Now, if you are in the Philippines here, you're going to have to watch these two systems here. Take a look at that. With an intertropical convergence zone, we're lining up these systems, and as you can see out here, we got a busy intertropical convergence zone south of Hawaii. So take a look at that. And our system here developing in the eastern Pacific. Let's see. Let's go in motion here. That develops into something very light here. But for the most part, we're not looking at anything too terribly bad here. So not, hurricane status or anything like that. But as you can see out here into the western Pacific, we have a lot of activity around the Philippines here. Take a look at this. As we go in time, none of these systems look too terribly developed. But by, let's see, August 16th here, we are looking at quite a bit in the way of activity. This system could develop into something here northeast of the Philippines. Take a look at that. So as we head throughout time here, we could be looking at some named systems, another potential development here south of Guam, and then we head out towards the eastern Pacific. And let's see if the activity starts to calm down, because that could be a signal that things are going to start ramping up in the Atlantic. It does look like there's going to be a period of a lull here the third week of August, and that could work out in our favor come into the first week of September. Look at that. It gets very quiet in the eastern Pacific. What's going on in the western Pacific here? Look at this. This looks like some tropical moisture just south of Taiwan here. Quite a bit in the way of tropical moisture with a potential stalled out frontal boundary here. Nothing too terribly to develop into anything though, and as we head throughout time, the last frame, yeah, you can see the eastern Pacific here is looking pretty quiet. All right, let's take a look at the Euro. There is our system off the Texas coastline here. Let's see what happens with this system. Yeah, the Euro pretty much takes it inland as well during the day on Sunday and then into Monday. As you see throughout the rest of the tropics, we head throughout your new week here. We don't see too much in the way of activity here. In fact, things are looking pretty quiet. And as we head into the eastern Pacific here, let's see what the Euro does with that potential system. Yeah, it keeps it a very open wave, pretty much almost nil. Questionable whether it will become a named storm. We'll have to see. It's possible because the GFS is kind of indicating it. And let's take a look at our tropical system near Japan here. Let's see what the Euro does with it. Pretty much taking it away from Japan. This is later Saturday, so take a look at that as we head throughout time. It zooms it on to the northeast. Is there anything to replace it behind there? Well, not too much in the way of action here. The Euro's kind of indicating, yep, we do have some of those tropical waves here near the Philippines. So if you're in the Philippines, you're going to be heading towards an active tropical pattern here. All right, so I wanted to show you this intensity model thanks to Tropical Tidbits of Invest98L. You take a look here. There is the window of opportunity for strengthening before it moves inland. There's only one model taking it up towards Tropical Storm, maybe two here and a couple out here. I'm really questioning why it's doing this. It's pretty much going to stay almost pretty much nothing here. All right, so I wanted to show you the sea surface temperature anomalies here. It looks like most of the heavier, brighter colors here are sinking up to the north in the North Atlantic. We're actually seeing cooler than average now into the Central Gulf, so things are really changing here. Also in the main development region of the Atlantic, things are getting cooler. Things just aren't seeming as favorable here. It almost seems like we're heading into an El Nino, and we're not. It's a La Nina, but, between the wind shear, the dry air, the Saharan dust, everything going on, it's just not resembling a classic La Nina. All right, so let's see what the Mesoscale models here do with our Invest 90A feature here. So let's take a look. So as this system continues to go in time here, take a look. It is a big smattering of showers and thunderstorms. We have a lot of showers and thunderstorms over the Florida Peninsula here by late afternoon Saturday. So, as we head throughout time here, let's see what happens to the system. You guessed it. It pretty much moves onshore just south of Corpus Christi. This is by 3 a.m. Central Standard Time here Sunday. So take a look at that. We have this system moving inland. It only has that 10% chance of development, but it literally stalls here throughout the day on Sunday. There it is. It's not moving much once it heads inland here. It will continue these feeder bands spiraling inward here. So watch out all the way up towards Houston, Beaumont, Port Arthur here, Corpus Christi down to Brownsville. We're going to continue on with this pummeling of shower and thunderstorm activity here. And you see that center. That's weird. The center actually looks like it's more pronounced here towards the Rio Grande here. Take a look at that. That's by Monday morning at 12 a.m. Is there anything else going on? Well, you see in the northeast, this is where you start to see some of your shower and thunderstorm activity. Let's back it up throughout Sunday. So you'll eke out a pretty good weekend unless you're in the Ohio Valley by, look at this, 1 p.m. Sunday. You start to get shower and thunderstorm activity. Thankfully, none of this will be severe. So, basically here from central Pennsylvania all the way up into New England here in New York State, you're going to eke out a very, very, very nice weekend here as we head throughout time. here it is into your Sunday evening. We start to get clouds and showers and thunderstorm activity as we head throughout the night into Monday morning. Look at that, or early Monday morning. We do have shower and thunderstorm activity here, and look what's off the coast here. This is by right around just after sunrise here. Take a look at this. Shower and thunderstorm activity moving to the north, and we're going to have an interesting thing happen here Tuesday. Let's get into, let's see if we have a 3-kilometer. NAM will actually show us this as we head throughout time here. Take a look at this. So, we'll go down south here. We'll take a look, see what the 3-kilometer NAM does with Invest 98L. There we go. Let it load and see how it moves it inland. And then there's Sunday, pretty much on target with the HRRR model. So here's what the NAM 3-kilometer does here in the northeast on Sunday. The Ohio Valley, lots of shower and thunderstorm activity looking pretty identical to the HRRR model. There is noon on Monday, so you're starting to get some clouds, some showers, and some embedded thunderstorms here. As we head throughout the day, there it is, 7 p.m., 8 p.m., look how you start to get this banding nature out here. This is going to be kind of almost like a nor'easter because we get some tropical moisture from that tropical wave to the southeast, and it starts to pummel into the frontal boundary that's starting to move across the northeast. So you're going to be looking at some shower and thunderstorm activity. Let's see if we can get a better look at it here. All right, so we go to our trusty GFS here. Here it is. Take a look at Tuesday. This is 11 p.m. Look at this heavy rain moving on shore. It almost is resembling a nor'easter style system here. Take a look at this. So as this heads to the north here, look at this. We start to get some really interesting heavy rain here into Wednesday morning. Look how it just blossoms here across the area. You see the classic comma shape. This could help with the drought busting here because Boston, you are in a severe drought now. And look at this. The latest GFS actually wants to jaunt this heavier band to the west towards the Binghamton, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, I-81 corridor here. Will this materialize? Well, we'll see here. It has the potential here. This system definitely looking more promising as time wears on here, and we'll see. Look at that. It kind of hangs around and stalls around and then moves out by Friday, but this could be the thing that gives us. All right, so taking a look at total QPF here on the Euro, you can see here across South Texas, that's where we're going to see the 2.5 upwards of 5 inches of rain. Corpus Christi southward of Brownsville, and then across the east here, look at this. So we get some systems riding down from the upper Midwest, eastern Kentucky, that's not good news, and the Virginias here, and parts of Pennsylvania. But you notice the Euro doesn't do anything with that nor'easter in the northeast. Let's see what the GFS does here with precipitation amounts. Much, much different. Take a look at this. So we go regionally to the northeast. Let's take a look at this. There it is. Much different than the Euro. The GFS bringing the low pressure up like this and literally bringing all this moisture northward. This would be very good news for parts of New England that are in a severe drought now, especially around the Boston area. You'd be getting 2.5 upwards of 4 inches of rain in some of these locations. But will this happen? It's so much different than the Euro. It has the potential. I'll show you the upper air pattern here. I wanted to show you there seems to be more blocking here on the GFS. This is simply why the GFS is noting that this system here in the northeast could become a nor'easter, and it actually retrogrades it towards the northwest. Take a look at that. See how it does that? It's much different from the Euro. I'm going to show you a comparison here momentarily here. Look how the GFS just blossoms this right up, it seems like the Hudson Valley of upstate New York. So let's just flip over to the Euro really quick again. I'll show you what the Euro does. The Euro keeps that system much more progressive throughout the week. It does kind of hang it back a little bit. We'll have to see, but the Euro isn't as strong with it, and it keeps it more of a open upper level low there. All right, so as we head throughout time here, let's take a look, see what we'll go longer range on the GFS here and see what our upper air pattern's showing for the rest of August here. It is interesting to look as we go further out, that trough hanging tough here and actually reinforcing itself here, not only in the mid-Atlantic, but also the southeastern part of the United States. It keeps a massive ridge up here in Canada, so this is kind of a reversal of what we've seen, in recent months here. So as we head towards Thursday, August 25th here, look what we got barreling down the pike here. This is a massive trough. It's really going to set up its axis here across the northeast. Will this help funnel tropical systems if they develop right up the southeast and the east coast here? We'll have to see, because that could potentially happen similar to what happened late last August into early September. But look at how quickly, as we get towards the end of August here, we might not be done with the heat waves here across the northeast. You see that massive ridge developing by the 29th of August. All right, here we go, John, from the festival in Oldham, UK. Take a look at this. A overcast sky here as he's cruising along on the roadway here. Take a look at that. So he has a couple photos here. Let's see what he's got going on. He's got there's some more overcast conditions across the UK there. Probably cooler than it has been as well. Looking really nice there, John, as you're cruising out there on the roadways. Nice capture, but there is a lot of clouds out there. You can barely even see the blue sky. There's pretty much none to be had. All right, so what kind of temperatures do we got to look forward to? Look at Sunday. There is that classic trough, mostly 70s across the northeast, really comfortable. Your major heat is going to be boiling, continuing here in Texas up through Kansas, well into the 100s here as we head through your Monday. Let's see what starts to happen. Well, you can see across the northeast, we're continuing with this pattern, this trough. It's actually pushing 80s all the way down here into parts of northern North Carolina, so that's a welcome sight. But look at this. As we head towards Tuesday here, a reinforcing shot of cooler air you see up towards the northeast here, well down into the 70s. That's beautiful weather. But there will be a trough kicking in. We'll see if that nor'easter does happen, because if it does, these temperatures might actually be much cooler than are showing up here onto the temperature-wise. But look at this. By Thursday, August 18th, it's still into the 70s across parts. And look at this. We start to cool things down here in the plains, but we warm them up out west here. And by next Friday, look at this. The heat is on in the west. And look at this. We're getting 80s all the way down into northern Florida here. Very beautiful. All right, extended outlook from hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton's Upper Susquehanna River Valley. Let's take a look. Sunday through Thursday here. Yeah, Sunday, you're coming off a beautiful weekend. Look at that sleeping weather, 48 degrees. We have a chance of showers and thunderstorms Monday. I don't think there's that big of a chance. I mean, the drought's really holding, and the drought just tends to reinforce itself. Look at that. Throughout the week, we have the 20 to 30% chance of showers each day, but look at that. It's not much of a chance. More sun than clouds, mid-70s and then high 70s by the end of the week. Thanks for joining me, watching. Don't forget to share, smash the like button. Question or comment down below. Let's keep the weather conversation going here. I love to read your questions or comments. Over at my social media pages, Media Mark on Facebook, also Weather Northeastern, Hurricane Northeastern, also Susquehanna Weather, and you can visit me on Twitter at Weather Eastern. Thanks for joining me.